Hey y'all, Simply Zoological here, and welcome back to the channel. Either way, thank y'all for joining me for today's video where we are going to go over the latest dev diary that has just come out earlier this week for Prehistoric Kingdom. So first off, I want to talk babies because I think that's why we're all here. So in the dev diary, we first see the ontogeny process, which states, it's been all hands on deck this last month preparing ontogeny for update 14. In terms of art, around 40 of the 58 babies are in advanced stages of completion. Most of the remaining production time will be spent on finishing their skins, animations, and sounds. And then it goes on to talk about the technical side of things. And because I don't understand much of this, I'm just going to leave it here for you to read. And then it does show this little graphic, I assume, of the measurements and movements for the seamless aging. So I'm going to leave this up for a few seconds, so feel free to pause the video here if you want to look at this some more. And then the next section goes on to talk about the seamless aging audio, which basically tells us that not only will the aging be seamless, the baby's audio will change and develop as they grow. And there's a free post they have on Patreon for you to hear the audio. So I will play that for you real quick. And then it moves on to tell us about update 14. This month, we're pleased to unveil even more babies. These are but a handful of the animals already shown on Patreon, so if you can't wait for update 14, go check that out. Up first is the massive Paraceratherium and its much smaller relative, the Juxia. These little ones are almost like a baby rhino and tapir rolled into one with their prehensile lips and big ears. Next up are the fan favorites, the Parasaurolophus and the Carnosaurus. Each species has a unique pattern to help them transition into their adult coloration, making them quite distinct from one another. If you look close, you could even spot a tiny nub on their head. And finally, the most scrunkly one of all, the Dinochirus. We knew from the start that the Dinochirus simply had to have baby bird energy. Our artists looked at animals like juvenile pelicans, rosette spoonbills, and flamingos to find the perfect level of freak. What a funky fellow. And they do mention that they have also shared some images of the baby woolly rhino, the Dilophosaurus, the Dryosaurus, and the Velociraptors. So I will show these images off to y'all now as well. And here are some photos of the Megalosaurus. They do, however, state in their excerpt with these images that they are aware there are some enhancements that still need to be made on the fur, but it's just a rough draft for right now. And last but not least, they give us a sneak peek at the seamless aging for the different species. So I will let these play for y'all real quick, and then we'll move on to the next section. So here you can see we have the baby Dryosaurus, and I think this is one of my favorites that I've seen so far. The cute little white chick at the beginning is absolutely adorable. And then here in a second, we should be moving on to the Megalosaurus. And again, they did state in with the images that you saw previously for these guys that their fur is still under development, so don't stress too much about that. And now we're on to the Dilophosaurus. And I just love how seamless this looks because it's almost as if you don't even realize that they're aging until you look at them and they're like, "Oh, you're an adult now." It's crazy. And now it's time to move into the next section, the alternate species changes that they have made. So they start off by showing us these images of the Smilodon, and I will read you the excerpt that goes along with these images as well. Thanks to recent tech advancements, we're also taking the time to improve the visual differences of alternate species in Update 14. This means corrected proportions and more accurate shapes for many animals, such as the two Smilodon species. Below, you can see that the populator is much more robust than Fatalis. With its bulkier build, Fatalis is sleek with a skinnier face, limbs, and reduced shoulders. We even gave it cheek ruffs from the original concept art. And they do mention at the bottom of this photo that they will be reducing the length of populator's ears, so don't worry about that. And in the case of the Camarasaurus, each species will have a different head shape and silhouette from left to right. Grandis is the skinniest species with a rounded head. Supremus almost resembles a brachiosaur with a bulbous skull, short neck spines, and a thick neck. Lentis maintains much of the current Camarasaurus, acting as a middle ground between the three of them. And don't fret, there will be more changes to other alternate species as well. However, I'm not sure if all species will be adjusted this go around or if they will be rolled out over the next few updates. It didn't specify. And then they go on to tell us about the first person mode they are introducing. Their excerpt for this reads, "Since we initially revealed the prototype last month, we've seen a lot of great comments about this feature. We're happy to say that not only is first-person mode now functionally complete, but we even had time to sneak in a few object interactions too. While running around the park, players will be able to sit on benches, swap between seats, look through binoculars, and open or close gates to enter habitats. Any music that's currently playing will also be given a radio-like effect." So I'm now going to play you the video so you can see and hear what it is like for yourself. I personally am very excited to see how this will work for park tours and or cinematics of your park or your habitats themselves. But the last bit of the Steph Diary are the gameplay changes they are implementing. So I'm going to go ahead and read you what these are. So we first start off with animal creation. Animals are now incubated asynchronously, and yes, it did take me a few tries to get that word right, in the animal nursery. This means that rather than waiting for one after the other, all incubating animals will progress at the same time. We'll likely lengthen adult incubation times a little to compensate, but it definitely feels better to have a group of animals be ready together. And then it states animal points. The base appeal of an animal has been rebalanced so that it's calculated on an animal's current mass and perceived popularity. This will help make things a little more objective when it comes to balancing, as we previously made the numbers up based on vibe. As a side effect of this, base appeal now slightly varies for each individual due to their differences in mass. A small adult T-Rex will be slightly less appealing than a large one, for example. And then we have excavation system. Widespread animals such as Edmontosaurus regalis and various mammals can now be found in multiple dig sites. Excavation progress will be carried between all the other dig sites a species is present in. We're also looking to retune excavation costs and speed to make them feel like more of a long-term investment. And then it says staff dispatch improvements. Now let's talk a bit about the future. To wrap up this dev diary, let's take a look at some of the other paleo plants that have been worked on. As a reminder, don't forget that Paleobotany will be coming after Update 14. Below, you'll find a coastal biome conifer from throughout the Mesozoic, Ellatides. This tree will come with a bunch of variations, including one that splits off into two trunks. And then it shows the scrublands. Next up are two scrubland plants from the Jurassic, Chimeriella and Corylipterus. We think these two go well together, giving off an arid yet somewhat alien vibe. And last but not least in this dev diary is a quick look at one of the oldest plants in the world, the cycad. This family has been around since the Permian, almost 300 million years ago. But despite this, many species can still be found all over the world today. But that's all that was in the dev diary. I hope to continue to do more of these from here on out. I do, however, want to note real quick that I may miss the next 2 dev diaries, seeing as I am going on vacation for the next 2 months. And I won't be in a position to make content. However, I'm going to try and schedule content over the months I will be gone, so you won't be missing out on any more builds. But anyway, with all that being said, it is time for me to head off, so I'm going to leave you with this. Make sure you leave a like, a subscribe, all of that good YouTube stuff, and let me know down in the comments below what you think or what you thought of this dev diary overview. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed making it, and let me know what part you are most excited for. I know for me, it's the babies, of course. But anyway, I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye!